Hey, hey, hey.
Hey.
It's
Oh, I thought you was talking. I couldn't hear nothing you was saying.
no, we're live. We're live. Hey guys,
Woo! We did
we're
it.
live.
Yay.
Right, right. We're
All
live.
right.
Water Cooler Wednesday back at you today. Another day. Right.
Yes. So today I saw the title asking one of them questions. Can I get my money back? What's
Right.
that about? We're gonna
Yeah.
talk about that today, huh?
Yeah, today we're gonna talk about can you get your money back, right? So
Well, I guess it is one of those things, it's not always roses and rainbows and unicorns and stuff in real estate. So at some
mhm,
point in time we do have to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. And I think that
exactly.
is one of those things.
Right. We over here every week like it's great, but we really have to be honest with you. Sometimes there's a little hiccup in the road, and we
Yep.
gotta right. We got to what is it? Get our shoes back on and get back out there and do it
Right.
again anyway. So yeah, so
Yep.
this is it. So I had a client. We had an offer accepted. Um, so she placed her earnest money down. Everything was going well. We had a home inspection,
Hmm.
and Lisa, I think she even went all the way down to the appraisal, right? Like she
Okay.
even
Yeah,
right. So
I think so.
yeah. So the seller, we were having some concerns about inspections and requests because when you do your home inspection, you have some requests. You get to request the things that you want done. They didn't want to agree to that. They had some questions about some financing. And so in the end, the seller just said, okay, we're backing out.
Hmm.
Just like that. We're backing out.
So then
Okay.
what is the buyer supposed to do if the seller backs out of the transaction, decides that they don't want to continue anymore? And by the way, just so everybody knows, because I'm not really sure, who's tuned in or not, and how are you listening? But
Right.
this is Dion Branch, who's
Yeah.
going to answer this next question with Real People Realty. And I'm Lisa, the house money mama with Great Mortgage, talking to you today. So we just want to address these couple of things, but I think that's more of a question for you as the realtor. So what does that mean? Because you guys write the contract, and you know what goes into the contract and what those things mean, stuff like that. So how does that impact the buyer if the seller decides that they're frustrated, they don't want to waive, whatever, and so now
Right.
they're backing out? How does that
Right.
affect the buyer?
Right. So basically, there are reasons why a seller can back out. Right.
Mhm.
That does allow them to back out of the deal. And this time, the seller said they did not want to continue. So now the buyer, she's done a whole lot. Right. She's already did her home inspection. That was
Yeah.
about $400. She put her earnest money down. That's about $1,000. So it's like,
Hmm.
so her question is, well, where's my money? How do I get my money back? And so this
Right.
is where we really have to explain to you the risks of doing this home buying process and what happens, right? So, depending on who cancels the deal, there could also be a question of if your earnest money is able to be returned to you.
Okay.
So we can do a mutual cancellation, and if the seller signs off on the mutual cancellation, it's an agreement among both, then the earnest money is returned back to you with no problem.
Okay. In full, like if you gave $3,000, I have somebody right now, she's purchasing a property and she put down $3,000 as earnest money. So if you did a mutual cancellation, then she can get the entire $3,000 back, or is it just a portion of it? How does that work?
So you could get the entire amount, but it also depends on the agreement. So it's a mutual cancellation. Say the seller
Mm.
feels like I've put so much into it, I'm still paying. Maybe it's an investor. He did some rehab, he's still paying mortgage on it. He could decide maybe he doesn't want to give. He says, you gave me 3,000. I really want to only give you 2,000 back. It could be a fight, but it
Mm-hmm.
has to be a mutual agreement amongst the both of you how much money you get back. Most
Okay.
times the seller gives you everything back and you're fine. Earnest money,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So we're talking earnest money. Most times you can get it all back. But there does have to be a mutual agreement for you to get it all back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then the other part is the home inspection, right?
So what,
So
wait, what do you mean by that?
so the home inspection, when we first do start the deal, it's recommended, not required, that you do a home inspection. And so
Mm-hmm.
the home inspection is just so you can have an idea of if there's any repairs that need to be done. And you can ask your attorney to ask the seller's attorney to have the seller fix these things, right? Hey, that window wasn't working just right during the inspection. Can they fix that window? The electrical seems to have a problem. We need that electrical fix. So you can provide a list of items that need to be repaired. And so that's why it's good to have a home inspection, right?
Yeah. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
A lot of people like, oh well, you told me it was required or something like that. So it's not required. It's just the best thing for you, right?
Right.
So
I remember when I bought my house about a year and a half ago, my home inspector came out. He was here for a few hours, but he looked at the house from top to bottom, from side to side. I mean,
mhm,
like he
yeah,
went through every crevice of the house. He looked at the tape. He looked at the smoke alarms and O2 sensors, the detectors, whatever stuff. Like he looked at everything.
everything. They
Stuff I
check
never
your
would even
roof.
thought about to look at in the house. I'm like, oh, houses have that,
Right.
And
Right,
he
because
told
when you
me.
the buyer, you go through it at first like, oh, this is so cute. This is it. This is it.
Right,
You
right,
see, some people are like, oh, let me check the water. Some people may, check a couple of switches, but you're not going through checking every light switch.
right,
That's the
right.
home inspector is doing that. He's checking every electrical socket. That's if the house is empty, then he can really get to everything and check
Yeah.
everything. He Some inspectors even get on the roof. You
Yep.
know,
Mine
mm,
did.
yeah,
He got on the roof of the house and he got on the roof of the garage too. He did both. Yep.
yeah, yeah. So they'll do a lot for you, and so they cost right. They cost between $300 and about $400, maybe a little
Mm-hmm.
bit more, depending on your square foot of your property, right? So you're
Mm-hmm.
looking at a condo, you might not pay $300, so but you're looking at
Okay.
a house, you start at 300. Now you got 5 bedrooms and basement, and you got the hookup,
Right.
right?
Like the Jeffersons, they moving on up.
Exactly right. You might have to pay a little bit more for your home inspection, but because
Right.
you have more of a home, you have more square foot. So, can you get your money back? No.
Mm, I would say no on that one. I mean, because if you think about it, though, it makes sense why you wouldn't be able to. He did his job.
He did his job, right? He
He
did what
did
he
his job. So why would he not get paid for doing his job? He did his job.
right. And most home inspectors, they want their money right then at the home
Up
inspection.
front.
Right. So you're paying at that time. Like this, it's not at closing or anything
Right.
like that. Right. It's right in the beginning.
Right.
So
I think sometimes people get that confused, because like you and I, with our roles, we are basically commissioned
yeah.
um salespeople or, commission workers, however you want to call it. So,
Right.
I mean, with us, there's already an understanding and agreement that our compensation comes upon the consummation of the loan.
Yeah.
When the loan closes and funds, then that's when
Then
you
we
get
get
paid.
paid.
Right.
So I
But
could look
people
for a
like,
house with you for a long time. We could get a house and something happens that you don't close on the house, then I won't get paid. So
right.
only when you close, when you go to closing, then that's when Lisa and I get paid. So
Yeah, exactly. Now for us, another thing that would be considered like a third party expense, that would be the appraisal. Now the appraisal is a requirement for the lender. You have to do it. It's not something that is where you can, I'm sorry about that, moving my phone.
hmm
Um, but it's not something where you can say, oh no, I want to forego the appraisal. Not if you get financing, you not, because the lender want to know how much the home is actually valued at, because that's what we base a lot of our numbers on. We're not going to put a lien on a house that isn't worth what you're paying for it.
right,
Because if you think the house is worth 300,000, you agree to pay that. But if our appraiser comes back and says it's only worth 250, we're not putting a mortgage on it for 300,000 because it's not
yeah,
worth 300,000. So for us, it is definitely a requirement, but also it's something where you're not able to get that money back because again, the appraiser did his job. If
right,
the appraiser comes out and he appraises the house, whether you agree with it or not, it's not his job to agree with you, but it
mhm,
is his job to properly assess the value of the home. And if he
right,
did that, he came out and he did his job to the best of his ability where he gave the value. That's all we expect from the appraiser. So at that point, his job is done, and we do not expect a refund for
right,
the appraiser.
right,
He's a third
and
party person.
right, and the client, she actually wanted the seller to pay for some of the expense that she had. Although, we understand, we agree, right? She puts all her money into this project. She really believed that it was going to happen for her. And we
Hmm.
did too, right? And
Hmm.
so unfortunately, it didn't. And what the attorney can do is request for the money, for some of the money back, right?
Yeah.
So her attorney did send a written request asking for the seller to pay for the home inspection and pay some of the money back or pay half of it back. And she really felt like the seller wasn't really into allowing her to purchase this property. So that was kind of the thing. It's like there was so many different go back and forth between the seller and the buyer. So she
Hmm.
she has some justification for her request, but they still can say
But
no.
but legally, so I understand what you're saying. All
Right.
right. So, and this is one of those things where I'm not an attorney, so don't take this as legal advice. Anybody listening or watching or whatever, if this is
This is not
recorded,
legal
I'm not
advice.
giving legal advice. However, you do have to know that when you work with things that have some kind of legal ramifications, the way that the law reads and what's legally allowable is not necessarily always the same as what's right.
Mm-hmm.
It might be the right thing for the seller to split that cost because they didn't play straight. They already had something in their back pocket and they just, kind of bided their time until that thing in their back pocket came back to fruition and then they bailed. And that's what they was planning on doing anyway. But so could it be right that they would, help the buyer to recoup some of her losses? Yeah, it might be the right thing to do, but legally, are they obligated? That's the thing. Because if legally they're not obligated, then it becomes difficult to be able to, figure out how to make that happen. You basically are just going on good faith, if it's something where it's not legally in the contract or legally allowable, you know,
Mm,
and that would be kind of hard to prove too, if you guys just weren't seeing eye to eye.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's kind of what happened. So we, here at Water Cooler Wednesday, we have to share the good and
The
the
good,
bad.
the bad, and the ugly.
And, but it's our job to give you all the tips and tricks And so we want to make sure that if you have any questions for us, and we see a few people are watching us, one, definitely say hi. You know, you could put a question in the chat for us. We definitely like to answer any questions that you may have. So
Yep.
let us know. You have any questions? Shoot us a question real quick. I do see Chef Brian X on. Hey, Chef. Hey, cuz. Give him a little shout out.
Okay.
But
That's funny.
just, so just so you know,
That's what we're here for.
this is what
Questions,
we're here
comments,
for.
that's what we're here for. You know, because
Mm,
like we say pretty much every week, we are the team. We work together as a team, and the team is what makes the difference.
yeah.
You don't have a good team, you're gonna know it.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna feel your transaction is gonna feel different. You're not gonna feel secure. You know, you won't you know how it is when you got some ride or dies in your life. You
Mhm.
feel like they got your back. You know it. You feel confident because you know they got your back. And that's what we do as a team. We got your back. So you want to have a good experience, you want to, you know, be taken care of, then that's what you do. Reach out to us. That's what we're here for.
Right. So I've shared Lisa's phone number below. So if you're looking for
Okay.
lending, we got to start with the lender first. So you reach out to Lisa, let her know that you saw her on Water Cooler Wednesday. And then I'll also share my phone number. I'm Deanne Branch, and that's my number below. So you can always reach me at my phone number as well. So let me check the
All
chat
right.
one more time. Oh, hey, April, how you doing? No questions, but hey, hey. April said, hey there, no questions, y'all. But I want to say, we do want to say to you, thank you for joining us, and we look
Yeah.
forward to seeing you next week. Same time,
Yep.
same place, 6 p.m. on Wednesday. Make sure if you can also join our new group. We have a new group called Water Cooler Wednesdays.
That's
Join us.
right.
You,
Exciting.
right. So you can ask us some direct questions there. You can kind of message us if you want to, don't want to be out
Yeah.
to the group, but questions that you have may be a question that somebody else has. So
Yeah.
thank you for joining us.
Everybody have a good evening.
Yes, yes. Bye.